Hello friends and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to make English muffins, sourdough English muffins to be exact. And this is my first time trying this recipe. We're going to start out with 3/4 of a cup of sourdough starter. This is supposed to be active starter and mine was a little wimpy, and so I probably should have added a little bit of yeast to this recipe, but I didn't, and it was fine. They were still good. So anyway, I'm putting in 3/4 of a cup of sourdough starter, and then I'm gonna add in 2 tablespoons of honey. Do y'all see how I just plopped that lid on and scooted out of my way? I'm gonna just keep making a mess from this point forward. And that was just kind of a 1-2, sounds good. Then we're going to add 1 cup of room temperature milk. We don't want anything to be too cold. And then room temperature warm butter, 4 tablespoons. I probably should have waited until after I added the flour to add the salt. That may have caused an issue for me as well. But don't do what I'm doing here using the whisk attachment. Please use the paddle or the hook, dough hook, one or the other. The whisk was a bad idea. You'll see in a minute. As you can see, I am watching, as I'm making this, I am watching the Ginger's Kitchen, which is where I got this recipe from. It turned out fabulously for her, and I highly recommend you watching her video. But I'm adding 3.5 cups of flour to this, and then I'm going to mix it up. And I'm going to repeat this part. Use a paddle or a dough hook. May as well just go ahead and start with the dough hook to mix this up. Do as I say, not as I do. Have y'all ever heard that? That was such a popular saying when I was growing up. Yeah. So anyway, here we go. We're going to mix this up, and foolish me. You can tell a lot of times that I am ADHD. You see things with lids off. You see dirty, measuring cups on the counter. Yay me. Look, am I putting it away? I'm actually going to put it where it belongs. It's kind of dirty and dusty. Do y'all see all that flour sitting on the top of that canister where the bread flour is? So anyway, this is where I realized my horrible mistake. Oh dear. So this is what I want you to not have to deal with. This is what I'm trying to save you from. It was tedious and annoying, and look at me. I'm just like trying my best. I finally figure out that's not going to work, and we're just going to get a little spatula and do our best. And I'm not going to make you watch the whole thing, but here we go. Please don't make the mess that I made. It just, everything turned out fine, but why? Why must I struggle? Why must I struggle? It is just, do you ever do that? Do you just struggle? It's like you're just needlessly struggling because you just, I don't know. We just make bad choices sometimes, I guess. After I get this done, we leave it to rest for 30 minutes, and I don't think I showed that. So anyway, 30 minutes is over. And now we are going to start kneading the dough. Now you would think this is automated. This is my stand mixer. I can just, mix the dough, knead the dough, let it do the work, and I'm not going to have to worry about it. But no, it's making all kinds of wonky, wacky noises, and I'm looking around, I'm trying to figure out what's wrong. And it just keeps going like this, bam, bam, bam. And I'm like, what is hitting? Am I breaking my stand mixer? And so do you see how my dough is sticking up like that? I'm like, okay, maybe it's because the dough's sticking down. I'm going to put the dough down and try this again. So I put the dough down. We try this again, but it doesn't take long. Watch that dough, y'all. Here it comes again. It's climbing up the side. Can someone please tell me why mine does this? I do not see anybody else's doing this on the internet, but mine does it every time. And so now I'm convinced it's breaking it. It's breaking my stand mixer. And so I'm like, but there was no sound. And so I'm like, what? I could not figure it out. So as it turns out, I finally figured out what the problem was. And do y'all see how it's jiggling like that? I don't know if it's because the dough is kind of a thick dough, or if it's because my cabinets are crooked. I don't know. But here's what we figured out. That slap, 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 slap sound that I kept hearing was the dough slapping the side of the bowl. Do you see? It's slapping with some force as it's slung around there. But anyway, we survived, and it eventually came together as a nice, beautiful little dough. You're supposed to let it knead, by the way, for 5 minutes. After that 30-minute rest, you're going to knead it by hand or by mixer. I recommend the mixer, but to each his own. And this is the beautiful dough that I was so impressed with, that were left with. And it wasn't sticking to my hands or anything. And so we're supposed to now put some oil in that bowl and swish it around a little bit. And we're going to let it rest this time. And you can let it ferment 10 to 12 hours. Y'all, I don't think I let it ferment that long. That might be why I don't know, y'all. I was so confused. Can I tell you a secret, y'all? I have ADHD, and sometimes I get confused with the directions of stuff. But fingers crossed, I don't know. I'm going to have to make this recipe again and try to do it right and actually follow the directions. I don't know what I was doing. But now I'm ready to roll it out, y'all. I'm rolling out the dough. You want it to be about an inch thick. You get you a cookie sheet, and you put some parchment paper on it, and you're going to get some cornmeal, and you're going to sprinkle that on there, to give you that little cornmeal crunch like you get on an English muffin. So my dough had doubled in size. You know what? I bet it had risen. I bet it had been setting out for probably 10 to 12 hours, and maybe a little longer than that. I'm not sure, because my dough had indeed doubled. And I know my dough would not have doubled quickly. I think it was quite slow. So it may have been closer to like 14 hours by the time it had risen enough. But anyway, so now I just find this so therapeutic, y'all, to roll out dough. It's just like, I don't know. And if you notice the lighting changed there, I am under a light thinking it was going to help me, and it just made shadows everywhere. So anywho. So now I'm using a biscuit cutter to cut this out, and my biscuit cutter is dull, and so it's not doing the best job. And not only is it dull, but I am cutting this out straight on the top of it's like a kitchen island on wheels, and you can see it's got like a leaf that flips up for more space, and I did not want to scratch up the wooden top of this, and so I wasn't pushing it real hard, but my biscuit cutter is truly dull anyway. So anyway, make as many slices. I'm one of those people who I'm going to use every single bit of this dough, and I'm going to try my best to do it in such a way that I'm not going to, I'm getting those as close as they'll get to each other, so I can get as many cuts from that first rollout as possible. Now, when you pick them up, you're going to put them on that parchment paper, and you can either sprinkle more cornmeal on top of them, or you can just kind of flip them. I flipped them because I'm lazy, y'all. That's all it was. I was lazy. But anyway, is this dough not beautiful? I was just so happy, so excited at how well these turned out, especially considering how I probably failed on so many fronts on this recipe. I highly recommend that you go watch the Ginger's Kitchen to get a better version of this. But yeah, they turned out pretty good. And you're going to see later that I forgot to hit record again. Y'all, I've been distracted. There have been babies, there have been sick children, there have been grandchildren. It's just one thing after another here lately. And I am just so glad to be back, kind of sort of to normal. I've got some video footage that I've shot over the last week, but I never was able to get it up because that's when everything was kind of crazy. And so hopefully you'll be seeing some of those videos this next several days. But anyway, so back to the rolling. Once you get all you can out of that first roll, you just roll it again, y'all. And you just keep doing that until you just got enough for that one last biscuit. And I don't care, or English muffin. I don't care how small or how big it is. You use up every bit of that dough, y'all. Don't let it go to waste. But anywho, I'm just, like I said, I am glad to be back and be halfway normal. Normal for me anyway. And so once you get all of these cut out, you're going to let them rest for about an hour. And then you're going to cook these on a skillet, okay? And I used an electric griddle skillet thing. And I could put several on at one time. I think I might have even managed to get them all on there at the same time. But let me just tell you, they were beautiful. They were super easy to cook up. And you'll see the end result here in just a minute because I forgot to hit record again. And so let's see here. Y'all look at me. I'm going to give it that one last roll to get one more English muffin, or as the people in the UK call them, muffins. Get one more muffin. Actually, I'm going to get two more because I'm going to get this one. And then I'm going to make one more after that because you've got to use up all the dough. Why would you use that or let dough go to waste? I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, my poor little there you can tell my poor little not dough cutter, my little biscuit cutter is a little bit dull, but that's okay. It'll be okay. Have y'all ever made homemade English muffins? Have you made them with sourdough or yeast? Because next time, like I said, I may add a little bit of yeast to this unless I can get my sourdough starter a little stronger. Mine will usually, it doesn't double. It only multiplies to 1.5 times. So anyway, so this is what they look like. We're going to cover them up with a towel to just kind of keep the moisture, keep them from drying out. They don't stick to anything. You don't have to grease your griddle. They did not stick at all. And so here we're just going to let them rest for 1 hour. And this was the finished product, y'all. And you can see they look a little raw. And they probably were, to be honest. They were probably a little raw. But once we cut them in half and then warmed them up in our air fryer, that basically cooked them the rest of the way. And my husband ate them, and he's just as happy as he can be. So they weren't too bad. Now the fun part, y'all. It's time to start cleaning. Oh boy. Here we go. Okay, so as you can imagine, this had already been a long day. You can tell it's dark outside. If you see on the left, all of that stack of stuff, that was a whole project that I had done that day. I'd also made biscuits before. I think I'd actually made scones and biscuits that day. And I was just tired. It was a long, hard day. And if you notice, that is the biggest hot mess of a dishwasher. Like, I'm just shoving stuff in there. Everything gets clean. It doesn't have to be perfect, y'all. This is one of those times where good enough is good enough. And so I just did my best, and all I could think of was wanting to go lay down. And I knew I couldn't do that until I'd gotten some of these dishes out of the sink and on its way to be washed. But wait, there's more. Do you think I get to rest when I get this dishwasher full? Au contraire, mon frère. If you wait, you will see that there is more to be done. I am not done yet. And if you look to the right, on the counter on the right hand side beside the laptop, you see my food processor. Let me just tell you, scones, biscuits, there is no better way to make them than using a food processor. I will never try to make them any other way. Anything where you have to cut in butter, look, you're better off just using a food processor. It's amazing. It's super simple. It's just a pain to have to clean my food processor. But anyway, so now that the dishwasher is as full as it can be, I hope. Nope, it's not. I'm finding more stuff to shove in there, y'all. I will momentarily get it done. And oh, now there's an ad playing, y'all, and I'm just like, stop playing ads. I want to listen to what I want to listen to. Are y'all annoyed by Spotify ads? Spotify ads drive me insane. I shouldn't say that, because someday, I might have Spotify sponsor me, and then they'll go, oh no, because you talked bad about us back when you were a little baby channel. But anyway, I'm not talking bad about Spotify. I love Spotify. I hate the ads in Spotify. That's what I find annoying. And I guess if I paid extra, I wouldn't have to deal with the ads. But y'all know me. I'm cheap. So anyhow, y'all see I have the dishwasher clean. Happy day. But now what? What are we going to do? We're going to wash this sink. Because, you think, okay, clean sink. You guys, I just noticed today. Now, I know I'm a big girl. But I was always shaped like an apple on sticks. And my legs are getting fat. And I've never had big legs before. And so it's just an eye-opener watching this video. Lord have mercy. Okay, so these, I did not make muffins. I did not make cupcakes. I did use these, and you will have to watch an upcoming video to find out what I used them for.